Listen, this show today, as you can tell, I just wanted to be in the middle of some real stars. I got Chris, I have Jim from the Dealcasters. They're on the stream show. You guys check in with us right now. Let me know where you're watching from because we have a lot to talk about tonight. If you know the Dealcasters, of course, they're always talking about Amazon Live, but we just may go all over the place and just kind of catch up on what's going on in their lives, what they're doing, including promoting Amazon Live to other influencers. Guys, when I met you, Chris and Jim, you guys were doing Podfest, and like all of my friends was down there. I had to be in Orlando to hang out with you guys, and it was a phenomenal time. Since then, what are some of the things you guys are doing now to help promote Amazon and Dealcasters show all together?
Jim, you want that one?
Okay, I was gonna hand it over to you first, but I would tell you the biggest thing we do is social media, right? We get stuff out there periodically to get people to come over to Amazon, right? And that's really what they want done. And they're doing some new things within the Amazon, I guess we'll call it ecosystem, right?
Ecosystem,
Where they've created a thing called Inspire, right? They've created this feed that's just starting to roll out in the Amazon app on your phone
okay,
that they're like trying to be like TikTok like, and they're taking your content from your storefront and they're feeding it into this thing, I guess, to inspire people to shop. And so they're letting you do photos. They're wanting more vertical video, and but the problem is not everybody has it yet. Not everybody knows it's there. I would tell you some of Chris and I's early observations is we're not like seeing this giant switch from desktop purchases to uh, you know mobile purchases. So it'll be interesting to see how that continues to evolve. But we are always telling people, and we'll definitely talk about that more today, that if you're a creator and you've got a niche, or even if you don't have a niche, maybe you like, I want to start a new show.
mm-hmm.
Amazon is a great place to do that. In fact, Chris Stone just started a new channel, and he went live the other day on it, where he's doing. And it's not that we're not breaking up. Don't think anything like that. But
I got you.
but we both want to start additional channels, and so this
Gotcha.
was a way for him to kind of do like a Chris Stone focused, one person show. And he was talking about tech. He did a great job. I really enjoyed being able to watch it and chat with him. And he was using Ecamm, so he was
That's
able to
awesome.
share the comments to screen from Amazon. So that was pretty cool.
So, because that's actually new with Ecamm that you can now put your comments from Amazon. I love that. I love that Ecamm has this new feature, and it's kind of gonna put us in a completely different place when it comes to what you're able to do with Ecamm and Amazon Live. So you guys get ready for that, and please again check in with us. Let us know like where you're watching from tonight as we talk about this. Jim and Chris from Dealcasters, where do you guys, from a content creator standpoint, because now you're telling me both of you guys are thinking about additional shows, where's the threshold for you when you're thinking about the content that you can create? Do you still have more space, more bandwidth to do that?
Yeah, I mean, for both of us, Strick, and yeah, by the way, that was a great time meeting you in Orlando at Podfest, and it was a different time, right? I think
It
still people
was.
were a little bit holding back a little bit in terms of what was happening in the world with the pandemic, but in the last Podfest, which happened fairly recently, it was even more well attended.
It's
It was
good.
exciting, but in terms of bandwidth. I think a lot of people, when they look at the Amazon influencer program, they think of it as, oh, it's just another thing, right? And they
Right.
think like, oh, this is something that I'm just putting on the pile, right? I've got my YouTube channel, I've got my podcast now, I've got my Instagram, all my social media channels. I got to figure out ChatGPT. Shiny objects are flying all over the place, and they
Right.
think that the Amazon influencer program is something else that they're throwing on top of the pile. And for the most part, the people that are doing it successfully are not changing what they're doing. They're just bolting it onto what they're doing. So right now we're live on YouTube and a lot of other probably multi-streaming on a lot of different channels. And some of the shows that are successful on Amazon are multi-streaming from other channels and on Amazon as well.
Gotcha.
They're just sort of bolting onto what they're doing. And I actually think it's not, I mean, Amazon has their sort of rules and regulations, but they're not that different than what you might see on YouTube. There's a few things that are kind of what you gotta keep in mind when you do things, but for the most part, you don't have to do something completely different. In fact, you shouldn't. The folks that are doing shows already, they know the people that they're speaking to. They know those problems those people have, and they know how to solve those problems. And so, we were different in the standpoint of for Dealcasters is we started on Amazon, and so
Okay.
then we backed into the YouTube channel and the social media and all of that stuff. It was born there. So we started there. We started solving people's problems of how to speak into a microphone and why you might need a cloud lifter for an SM7B and why you might need this particular interface, or well, you don't need to buy that microphone, just buy some fluffy stuff for your room. And here's how you talk into a mic and things like that, where we were doing that with clients all the time and solving people's problems live. It wasn't something that we were just, adding on top of what we were doing. We were doing this as remote producers already. And this was something that we could just do on a larger scale in the middle of the biggest mall of the world.
Which makes a lot of sense. And it really goes into, as you were saying that, I was thinking, wouldn't the right idea for a show to be a Amazon live show? Especially for, let's think about a new influencer, content creator. They're in the program. They are ready to go. Wouldn't it make sense for someone to have an Amazon live show that is then multicast to YouTube, to Facebook, especially Facebook? Especially Facebook, because your audience there, you have more of an opportunity to get seen from your friends list, especially if you're trying to gain an audience. And I always used to say this, like if you're on Facebook, hey, join us over here, and you're able to move people from one platform to the next. But the focus is going to be Amazon and the products that you have and all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
It does. I think that's what I think sometimes people don't think about. A lot of what we do is about building awareness because people don't know who we
Right.
are.
Right.
So if you are out on these other
Hold on, Jim.
channels,
There's no way people don't know who the Dealcasters are. You're like,
They know who
you
Jim
guys,
Hughes is. They know who Jim Hughes is.
that's
It's
what
like
I'm
Dealcasters
saying.
and Chris Stone. We're like, we're a lot
yeah, but
lower
Chris, our
than
parents
Jim.
don't, like my parents don't watch. They don't, my mom doesn't even like to shop on Amazon, which is a whole nother story. But
Hey, we got people watching here that are saying hello. Yvette, how are you
What's up,
doing?
Yvette?
And of course, we got the principal in the building saying hello. And thank you so very much for hanging out with us today. Guys, the Dealcasters are here. And if you don't know who they are, which I know everybody does, we're talking about Amazon Live. Like, they started an Amazon Live show. So if you're thinking about, hey, what can I do on Amazon, we're going to help you out with that tonight, okay? We're going to help you out with that tonight because, if you have an opportunity to go through or get to the influencer program, you have to use it. And it is probably, so if we're thinking back to 2007, maybe let's go 2009 YouTube, okay? So it's 2 years old. If I'm correct, it started in 07. Am I right in saying that? Something like that? Hold on. Make sure I get these dates right. When
if you say
first,
so, I'll believe you.
okay, I could be wrong.
We should do
I could be
YouTube
wrong.
Jeopardy. I'll take.
I know it. You guys tell me
yours.
where YouTube started.
I was in a different career at that point. Wasn't even thinking about YouTube.
So when YouTube started, just like anything else, the program, we got kids on it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Kids were using it, putting stuff up. You got the Charlie video where Charlie, he bit my finger. That's going viral. It's not how-to videos at the time. It's just random videos for people, more like Vine. You remember Vine? Do it for the Vine, and everybody's dancing for 10 seconds or whatever it is. And it's so new that, unless you were a kid that had all the time in the world. It's kind of like, why should I invest my time into
Mhm.
that? There's not a whole bunch of people over there. You fast forward 12, 15 years, and those people that were 12 years old, they have been doing it for all of that time, are now millionaires based off the content that they put on that platform.
Mhm.
Now, we know that Amazon owns Twitch, which allows them to have this streaming platform that they could use for Amazon Live, right?
Mhm.
And who knows? Because Amazon is trying to take over. Right now, the rival with Amazon potentially is TikTok, because they want to take their audience and sell stuff on their platform.
Mhm.
So this is happening. Of course, YouTube is going to be next. You have your link and all that kind of stuff, which you can kind of do now with Shopify. But who is not using Amazon? Like during the pandemic, I have so many boxes in my garage right now. I just have to like have a special day to break down the boxes just so I can get them out of the garage.
Right.
And if you're using subscribe and save, you may be getting stuff like weekly, monthly because you're comfortable with it. My wife now is thinking she needs to go to maybe therapy for all the Amazon like she's getting more boxes than me now, which is kind of scary. That's a whole
Wow.
nother story.
Yeah, you bring up a great point though, Strick, is in a lot of people use this phrase live selling. And when it comes to online buying, I think everybody here that's watching or listening to this, either live or team replay,
Right.
have bought something on Amazon. And probably most of the things you buy online, you're buying on Amazon.
Right.
And let me just put out a disclaimer, because lots of times when we do these shows, people think we work for Amazon. We don't work for Amazon, by the way. Now, Amazon pays us a commission for if people watch our show or watch a video that happens to be on a product page, and we get a commission if someone ends up paying for that at no cost to the consumer as a part of their affiliate program. So I got to put that out there, so
Gotcha.
people understand. We don't promote the Amazon influencer program because we get paid for it. We do it because we stumbled into this thing not knowing we could make money from it.
Wow.
Jim and I wanted to do a show where we could demonstrate what we do as live producers, remote producers, podcasting, live streaming, bring people on the platform and demonstrate that in a grand scale. And then we woke up one day and we looked at a commission report and we said, what in the world? And we thought at first, we were like, wait, no, this is some sort of mistake. And then Jim and I spent hours and hours and hours trying to unravel how this all happened.
Right.
And once we, figured out, and it's not really secret sauce, there's lots of people that have also figured this out. We said, listen, we got to tell people about it. And the reason why is if you go right now to Amazon and you go to amazon.com/live after you watch this show.
Right. Let's finish the show out first.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And so when you go there, the content's not great. I'm not going to lie to you right now. You talk about the early days of YouTube. This is where I'm kind of getting around what you were talking about. The early days of YouTube, people were blending iPhones and, they were putting their cameras up in front of fish tanks and you were watching a fish tank for hours. And it was hot garbage.
Right.
But now we wish we had started a YouTube channel back in 2007, whenever everything, but
whenever it started, I don't know.
And now there's 75 million YouTube channels, and the difficulty is getting seen and heard. And so we believe that because people inevitably are going places to purchase things and they trust their credit card with Amazon,
They do.
that this is a platform where if you're already on YouTube and you're already talking about something that ends up having somebody to purchase something, like here's my affiliate link. Oh, make sure you click on that affiliate link and then go here and here and here, and maybe I'll get your money, kind of thing. If you've helped someone, why not help them right where they can make the purchase?
You hold their hand right to the link and say, here it is.
Here it
purchase
is.
This.
And we're not doing the whole, QVC, home shopping network, drilling down through products. We're demonstrating how to do something. And if somebody says, oh, wait, what is this mic you're talking to? And how do you have that set up? And how did you do this? And on this show, you were interviewing Kirk Nugent, and you guys did this, and you guys did this. What is the camera you use, and what's the lighting that you use, and how do you use it? And then we demonstrate it, and then 48 hours later, it shows up on a commission report because it wasn't maybe that person, but maybe 62 other people that somehow were affected by that, and now they have their podcast, and now they have their live stream. We've helped those people.
Well, Chris, let me ask you guys, Chris and Jim, I want to know this. You said why, but I have to double down on this question because if you guys have a show that you are selling, wouldn't it behoove you to promote your show, promote what you're doing so people can see the products and continue to come to you versus saying, hey guys, this is a viable avenue to go down. Everybody come on over here because this is cool on this side. Like you could just be cool and, build your audience and not worry about, whether anybody else figures it out. Like why try to help other people in this way?
I think it's inherent in both Chris and I, the way we are as people is we want to help others succeed. And there are
That's
so
good.
many products on Amazon, right? Even if you think of YouTube, there's so much out there and all of our voices are different, right? I
Right.
could say something, you could say something, we could all say the same thing and everybody would like what you said, DJ, and they say, "I'm not listening to this Chris and Jim guy. I don't trust them,
Right.
whatever." So we don't get wrapped up in that. There are people that do. We do have our, I guess I'll call them haters. Maybe that's a strong word, Chris. I don't know. You can let me know what you think.
I have
That
haters. No one
why
hates Jim.
why are you guys telling other people about it? Like we want it all to ourselves, kind of to your
Right.
point,
Right.
DJ. And I think I just don't feel that way. I want to see other people succeed. Is that the rising tide lifts all boats. And one of the things that, Chris got me excited about last year, and I think it first happened when he was on a show with Kirk, is we're not live selling, we're live solving.
Come on, man.
We are
Listen,
helping
no, Jim,
people
you got to
live.
stop right there because I've heard Kirk say it. Now I hear you say it. Listen, if people understand the opportunity we have as content creators, period, helping people. Like if you want to have a great channel or a great audience, help people, right?
hmm
So
hmm
I love the fact that you brought that up, Jim. I think that's awesome to be able to solve problems live
Yeah,
and
because
use Amazon to do it.
that's how you build know, like, and trust, right? If I
Yeah,
help you and I'm not expecting anything out of it, I mean, I know for Chris and I, when we have somebody sometimes in the comments says, "Thank you guys so much for what you talked about today. I'm gonna start my podcast." That means more to us than anything else. We don't care if they even bought anything because maybe they already had everything.
right,
They just needed someone to help them take that next step. That means more to us than, like, "Oh, well, we're gonna make, 4% on that $60 microphone." That's how we look at it. And so I think because of that, that's led to us having opportunities to work with companies because they see that we're genuine and that, we're not, in it for the money.
I love
And
it. So
it's people trust is our currency
right,
as creators. If if I every single microphone that a company that approached us and every single whatever company that approached us, if we took the money and talked about it and said that it was the greatest thing ever, no one would trust us. So what would the point of any of that be? We say no to a lot of brands because we just don't feel like our audience is we can't serve our audience with this doesn't work for us. And so there's a lot of non-starting conversations where we're just like, hey, we don't know anything about this, but if you want to send it to us, we can try it out, and if we like it, then we can have a conversation. And a lot of times that's where it ends because no one's just willing to allow us to try something out before we'll
got you.
even talk about it. And they're ready to pay us money, Strict. They're ready to say, listen, here's what we want to do. We want to talk about. And I was like, we don't even know anything about your product. We don't know anything
Wow,
about your company. We don't know anything. So we want to know more about your company. We want to know more about these products. And if you're not willing for us to try it and see if they're any good, I don't want the money.
right. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense to do it that way because if you're building an audience and you want them to trust you, you have to have the integrity behind that to continue to do it.
100%.
And she's saying that's why you guys will succeed. Like the heart
I
behind
agree.
why you're doing it and sharing it with someone else, that will come back. I just believe in being someone that wants to help other people succeed. I love being other people's cheerleaders. And guess what? If I'm excited because what Dealcasters are doing when it's my time, I'm also praying that people are excited for me too. Like
That's
we
right.
don't want to be in a group where people can't celebrate your
That's
wins.
right.
You know, you want
Yes.
to be around some people that can celebrate. Hey, that's what you're supposed to do. That's a great opportunity. Congratulations on that brand deal. Like, hey, we all have been talking to
Yes.
that brand. You got the deal. Great job.
Let's
You
go.
know,
That's it, man. Because the Jim spoke touched on it earlier. Your voice is not our voice. Is
right.
not Yvette's voice. Is not Richard's voice. It's all these people that we're seeing here in the chat. Every one of you have a different voice, and there's billions of products that are just showing up on Amazon all of the time. And there's a ton out there for all of us as content creators. There's probably, if we're guessing, 3,000 Amazon influencers on the program.
Okay.
3,000, and there's 60 million YouTube channels. So
Right.
that, and if you look at like 3,000 influencers, how many are really working hard at it? How many really
Uh-huh.
have that abundance mindset? And how many are really willing to, well, if Amazon cuts your commission in half, are you still here? Are you
Right.
still trying to help people? Are you still, and I can tell you right now, we will be, because we believe in this program, and we believe that like we can continue to help people. We're seeing this happen. And like if influencers are like, hey, I can't do this because there's just too many videos from influencers on the platform. I'm like, come on, like let's just be better here. Let's try to
Right.
help each other and get better as content creators, and then we all can dip into that.
I like it. And big shouts out to you, Dan, for hanging out with us
Yeah.
today. Hello from Boston. And Chris, you actually pronounced her name right. Thank you. So I don't ever do it, I guess. But
Dan, I
hey,
got my
thank you.
Plexi Cam right here. Look at this. This show's
Yeah,
brought to you all of a sudden by the Plexi Cam. Dan Kelson.
great product.
So let me say this when it comes to building content for Amazon Live, because I think people may not understand all of the facets that you can actually monetize your content with Amazon. So there's actually, I want to be sure because I could be wrong. I know of two ways that you can monetize your content.
Mhm.
So the first one is doing live streaming selling. So you're live doing your show, you have your carousel, which is at the bottom of your screen where there are links to products that you're talking about. And then you also have shoppable videos. Can you guys tell me the difference between the two?
Yeah, absolutely. So shoppable videos are you record a video, and of course now they're wanting you to do vertical videos, and they've actually, I will say they've changed it because before there was maybe some confusion. You can do as many product videos as you want. You're gonna
There's
upload
no
it to your
threshold
storefront.
to it. You don't have to
There's no
have like,
threshold.
got you.
Yeah, we used to think it was 3, but now that's no longer the case, and I think part of it's because they want this vertical content to be able to put out there on Inspire, and so but here's the thing, right?
All right,
There's only so
hold
many
on.
s y okay.
I'm not as versed about it. So Inspire, how's that connected?
So what'll happen is some of the product videos that you put on your storefront may get pulled into the Inspire feed, but you have no control over that algorithm. It'll start to, you know, populate in there. That's kinda where they're going, because I think when people are in this feed, they'll then click on it and then go, do some shopping. So, but normally, if you're just like say on Amazon.com out on the regular storefront, you may see Chris's video that he recently did or I did about the Plexicam as an example, since Dan's here, explaining how you can use it. And then if you click on that video and make the purchase, then we get that commission. So that's one way where shoppable videos, that's really where we think you get that make that money while you sleep, because those videos are out there all the time. Now,
Right.
because they only let so many videos on, though, your video could get rotated out of quote unquote rotation. And so now your video is maybe not on the product page. And that's where the social media piece is important, to put that stuff out on other channels to get people to, come back to Amazon off of those video links, or, in a case like when we do a live show, they can come back and watch that later, put some of the products in the show notes. So that's where, there's people that's all they do are product videos. They don't want to go live,
Right.
right? Then you've got the live streamers that are going live, all and that's really where the creativity comes in, right? We have our friend Denise, who started a show where she does like art projects, right? And all the stuff you need for that art project are in there. Our friend Geraldine, right? She does
Uh-huh.
quilting,
Quilting.
and she also does a show about tech. I think a lot of times it's focused on like maybe women that are trying to get started with tech, and explains it. And once again, right, it's the products are in there. Jeff C does a news show, and he sometimes does a wood carving show. So he's
Wow, I
sitting
did
there wood
not know
carving.
that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm not
So
even to wood carving. I love watching that show, Strick.
right,
It's
That's
really
really
good.
cool. I gotta check Jeff out on his
Yeah.
Amazon Live show. That's cool.
yeah. So you've got all this creativity, because Amazon doesn't say like, oh well, you got approved as this, so you have to stick to that theme. I don't know if you know Kelly Noble Mirabella. She got
Uh-huh.
involved with the program, and she does a cooking show, right? But if you would think of her
I did
as a
not know that.
normal social media person, that's not what she does on the other channels. So she's seen how you can kind of like, hey, here's a chance for me to dip my toe into doing something that's different than what I maybe am normally known for, or maybe it's about something I'm really passionate about that ties into Amazon. I mean, you've got, book authors that have a chance to talk about their book live, because there's several creators that want to do, author interviews on a platform that their book is selling. I mean, one of our first early episodes was Dave Jackson on his book launch day,
And
right?
I think
Talking
I
about how to
saw that
profit from your
episode.
podcast.
I thought it was
And
very unique.
it is, because and that's how we think we've gotten some of our guests, because when you say, it's one thing to say, "Hey, you wanna go live on my YouTube?" And they'll be like, "Well, how many subscribers do you have?" But when you say, "Would you like to go live on Amazon?" Like my pug used to do, they like turn their head like, "What?"
Right.
And, it definitely, I think, makes a difference. And so you've got these ways to get your content out there, and Amazon wants you to share the stuff off the platform, bring people back to the platform. And it goes back to what Chris has said. When you get people on Amazon, right, they've already got their credit card in the system, right? It's not like they even have to go type it in,
Oh,
because,
I got
uh,
multiple credit cards in the system. Oh my
right,
goodness.
right,
You and me both, man.
Not this one. Not this one today. Let's use this one.
yeah, yeah. So so there's already people trust that platform, right? We
Right.
even talk about on our shows sometimes when we're live. It's like, if you're not sure, get both microphones, and it's really easy to return, right? No questions asked. You can return the stuff. Does that happen on these other platforms? I mean, when we look at, Facebook went away from doing the live shopping thing. Instagram, it's kind of hard to tell what they're doing, right? They start to bring shopping back, then they take it away. And even to your point with YouTube, you still have to have right now, I think, 1,000 subscribers to use
Hmm.
Shopify, which means you've got to set up a Shopify site. And so
Right.
Amazon makes it much easier for you, because they've already got everything there for you. I mean, you don't even have to have the inventory. I mean, they would like you to have the product to demonstrate. But aside from that, I mean, you know, it's really your imagination, I think, that
Being
keeps you
creative.
busy. Yep,
Being
exactly.
creative. I always talk about thinking outside the box as a content
That's right.
creator, because you just never know how your creativity could spark a fire in someone else to see how they can now use that product for what they're doing. But more
Mhm.
importantly, I really want to come up with this concept, because I really think that so many times people think about all the stuff that we're doing as social media content creators, YouTube content, whatever you want to call yourself. You do have TikTok, you do have Instagram, you do have Facebook, you got YouTube channel, and now something else. It could be a daunting task to be all things. This is me being a preacher, all things to all men, it'll be kind of hard to do all of this. And I think that as we're talking about Amazon Live, I think people may want to take Amazon and put it up the ranks a little bit, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So let's talk about money. You know, I've seen people go on TikTok and go viral on TikTok. But you don't really hear about the funds that get paid.
No.
Okay. We know that YouTube is where you want to build an audience only because in the past they have been the best funder. Like they have paid the most money to creators. Things are changing in how they monetize your content now, but
Mm-hmm.
also have Amazon that is big enough, that have the products, and have a streaming platform that's maybe on the rise that you could say, hey, let me focus on this. And potentially, while I'm spending this time making content, I also could be making money. I've heard tons of content creators talk about $5,000 months, $10,000 months, and that's just selling on Amazon.
Yeah. I mean, just like anything, you lean hard enough into it and stay consistent with it, and you have good content for that particular platform, you're going to eventually see success. And, it just happened for us a little more quickly for, on Amazon. I'm not gonna peel back and say, here's how much money we've made. But I will tell you this, there's a number of influencers that are making what many consider to be quote unquote full-time revenue on the Amazon platform. It's dangerous to take any one platform and make it your full-time revenue. Very dangerous. And I would never recommend that for a content creator. Jim and I both, our main businesses are, we have our own businesses. I do remote production for podcasters, for live streamers, and we do all of the repurposing and all of that for a number of clients. The Amazon stuff is one stream of revenue for myself. It's one stream of revenue for Jim. We have multiple streams of revenue, and that's what we would recommend, because just like having a diversified portfolio, if you put all your stock in, Apple, then, what happens when Apple stock takes a hit? You take a hit.
Take a
And
hit.
so,
That's true.
and so you gotta diversify things. That being said, I absolutely feel like Amazon is something that if you're already making good content and you already have a bunch of stuff in front of you, like Yvette is saying here in the chat, a bunch of stuff that you've purchased in your particular room, where you've in your office and wherever you're at, and you've got all this content, that is content that's just, you can do a 2-minute video if you're an Amazon influencer, submit it on Amazon, and over the course of time, like, Strick, we've done this now for 2.5 years, and we're still making money on videos we did 2.5 years ago.
Wow.
I'm embarrassed when I see the video a little bit, like,
Wow.
sometimes you get cringy on those old videos. It's like, oh
Right.
God, is that me with a Blue Yeti microphone right now?
Yeah,
And
that was you.
yeah, so but listen, number one, I can't complain, because like, you gotta that journey of growing as a content creator. Number two, it's like that video is making me money, so I can't, you can't really complain that much about it. And that's really just sort of that whole passive income, that evergreen content. And so we utilize Amazon in that respect as well, to go through the reps. And back to your question, you can make money on going live. Absolutely. You can make money on shoppable video. You can make money, although very, very, very much less. In fact, I don't even know if, you can't really tell on your commission report, like this made you money because of a shoppable video, or this made you money because of a shoppable photo. It won't designate the two.
Gotcha.
When you go live, it will tell you, in their app, it will tell you how many viewers, how many clicks, and now it's telling you the sales. It will actually tell you and delineate what products are being sold on your live stream. So their analytics are getting better. For the most part, their analytics are hot garbage, but
Okay.
but it's listen, I'm sure YouTube's analytics in 2007. Will someone please tell us if YouTube came out in
whenever it
2000?
started.
We need to know.
We need to know.
But I mean, I'm sure their analytics initially, Strick, were probably awful.
Right.
It just,
That's true.
you gotta grow. You gotta grow with the program, is kind of the way we look at it.
Well, Chris, Jim, I think it's just the opportunity. Like, I know
Mm,
this is one in many things. So I'll put it to you like this. We've talked about with Ecamm, we've talked about several different ways to create content. One of the ways you can create content, of course, is podcasting, right? And you can do a audio podcast show and a video podcast show. Well, people are moving from audio to video. Things are now changing. You want to be sure that you can have a now video podcast. And, we've always had video podcasts. We just called them videos. We
right.
didn't call them video podcasts. We have shows and there's live streaming shows, but now
That's
that's
right.
live streaming video podcast. So this would be repurposed as a as a recorded video podcast on Spotify. Okay, so people will be able to watch it on Spotify and see us go through this as in replay. So I use Anchor to do that. That being said, if you want to start a podcast and you say, hey, if I have an hour in a week that I wanted to create, I have this video podcast that I could, let me put my hand in here so you can see it, a video podcast that I could actually start and grow an audience, or I could do a Amazon live. And it didn't have to be on topic. Now we're thinking about, I got an hour in a week. I wanted to create some more content. What is the best way to use my time? What do you guys think? I'll start with you, Jim.
Both.
Yeah, and that's what we've done. We have taken our Amazon Lives, especially if they're interviews, and we've turned those into podcasts, right? Because so now we have the video podcast and we have the audio, and so that allows us to be on all the different podcast players, and it allows people to go back and watch the video if that's what they want to do. So I think you should do both. That's what Jeff C does with Social Media News Live. Ross Brand is starting to do more of that again. And so we actually talked about at Podfest how to turn your podcast into an Amazon Live show, because it doesn't necessarily have to be. And I think that's the mistake, or I don't know if I'd call it a mistake, but what people think is that if I'm on Amazon, I have to be QVC or HSN.
I was
It's
going to
not the
say that.
case.
It's not, you
That-
don't have to have a QVC show. Like,
Right.
you can have a real show and
Yep.
just talk about the products, have the products in what they call the carousel, and mention the products as you're talking about it, but actually do an interview show or whatever it is that you want to talk about.
Yeah, you wouldn't ignore people that might be chatting with you from Amazon, right? And so if you're utilizing Ecamm like any good content creator would, now with all their wonderful Amazon things, you can start pulling the chat onto the screen. There's ways for you to incorporate what's happening on Amazon during the course of a podcast, and that's kind of the way we do. We do like a run of show, and so a creative way to do it. Jeff C, who we mentioned now a few times, does it on Social Media News Live. You may want to start your show, maybe not necessarily on Amazon initially. So you're starting it on all the other places and you're going, okay, now we're going to get going, and you go into your Amazon show, or maybe you start your Amazon show and then you go off of Amazon and start an interview. Like, you're in control of that. There's no rules in terms of how you run your show. Some people have done it to where you'll do like a sort of a hardcore podcast interview, and then you go, okay, it's time to hit the bonus round. Everybody head over to Amazon and give all of your viewers a link to go to it on Amazon, like you had talked about, Strick.
Mm-hmm.
And then you fire up the Amazon machine or turn on the multi-stream over to Amazon, and then it becomes sort of like hey, we're going to start going through that kind of stuff. And for book authors, for them, it's like showing up and doing a book signing, or showing up at a mall and doing something like that. It's like you're here in the mall, hopefully buying their book, talking about their book,
Mm-hmm.
and there's the book, plus the microphone they're talking into, plus all the last three things that they bought on Amazon is all there. If somebody brings it up and they ask a question about it, the author can answer it, we can answer it, we can demonstrate whatever it is. And as long as you, from a podcast perspective, know that you're repurposing it into an audio podcast as well. So if you're talking about something visual, that you're also sort of explaining it while you're doing it.
Very descriptive in your
Yes.
explanation. I got it. So, Dan, it's like, going live on Amazon with the book launch is a brilliant idea, which he knew about that when he co-authored the Gen Z Effect in 2014. And man, you know what? I love when they're listening and helping us out, because I did not have a clue that
Whoa.
April
Look at
23rd.
Yvette with the
Yeah,
details.
Yvette, she's helping us
Wow.
out 05. And then the analytics came out March of '08. So
Wow.
I remember having a YouTube channel in '07, and I still have those videos up, and they're terrible. But you want to show people the
Hey,
evolution, right? So I keep it up just so people will know. Quick question here, because we're talking about YouTube, and one of the big things that some of the social media platforms, when things don't go right, sometimes you can get suspended, kicked off, and all
mm-hmm.
this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How is that with Amazon?
Jim, you want this?
I'll take it. It definitely happens. We've known of people, and this is where it gets interesting. Chris and I, not to say that we believe the best thing to do is to follow the rules, right? The rules are there.
By the rules.
Don't try to game the system. And so what's happened is there's been some people, as an example, instead of like say, I mean, think of this. If I really wanted to talk about this phone, right? I could go buy the phone, bring it home, talk about it. But don't sit there in the Apple store and start doing videos of all the Apple products, because there's been people that were like literally in the stores with the tags, they're doing videos, and at some point, Amazon's like, "Hey, this person's in, you know, some big box store talking about products that we sell on Amazon," and guess what? They got booted. And there is no,
Wow.
"Oh, I'm sorry, can I come back now?" And then recently, and I think the jury's still out, a couple people we know that were big time live streamers on Amazon have, at least for now, they've been shut down because they were doing, giveaways in trying to get, capture people's emails on Amazon, and that apparently is a no-no. And so that, at least Chris and I are glad that that's not something that we ever got into. And some of that was because they wanted to get more followers so they could move up, to another level on Amazon. Whether that's big advantage or not, I don't know. So there have been a couple people that
Hmm.
had been on Amazon for a while that right now they're shut down. And one of the things they did a long time ago on Amazon is in the rules, it used to be mediation. Now it's lawyer up. Well, Amazon's got pretty deep pockets. Chris and I don't want to have to get a lawyer to go to Amazon, so we just followed the rules, and we just think that keeps it easy. But yes, there have been people that have been booted from Amazon, and they won't be able to come back. It's kind of like what happens with YouTube. If you get kicked off of YouTube, I think it can also be very difficult to get back on there. So better to do things the right way, create good content. Don't worry about, it's one of those things like, why worry about how many followers you got?
Right.
If you create good content, eventually people will follow you and the numbers will take care of themselves. And that's kind of been the philosophy that Chris and I have taken in that regards. But yeah, I mean, Chris, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, just to dovetail on the follower stuff, you'd rather have, a solid bunch of people that really want to follow you than like a huge amount of followers and no one really cares. They just wanted to enter to win a free microphone. And I mean, it's like that with any platform. But Richard, your question is great, and it's something that a lot of people look at this shiny object like Amazon and the Amazon Influencer Program, and they see and hear the headlines of people making money, and you can make money if you do it, effectively. But you read the terms and conditions, read your Amazon Associates thing, and understand that like their number Amazon don't let it be lost on you. Amazon's number one focus is their customer, not you, not the Amazon influencer. And if you got everything together, it's not like Jim and I do this show, not be we do this for how we do it. We're not doing anything wrong necessarily, but like if Amazon said, you know what, you guys, no longer can anyone talk about tech items on Amazon. Well, I guess we wouldn't have a show on Amazon because that's
Right.
what we do.
Right.
That's our show. And so it's, they're not necessarily dictating our show. They're just wanting to make sure that their customer is not being duped. That's really their whole thing.
I
And
like
if you're
that.
gaming the system as an influencer and Amazon sees that you're trying to game their system, you're gone and you got to hire a lawyer and it's at least 5 figures.
That is not what you want to do. Kay here
They
has a
don't
good
play.
question. They want to be sure that they understand. You're actually saying going on Amazon, selling products that you have. Like, how does that work? Because I know it's more than one way of doing it.
Yeah. So you do this. You say, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Shure MV7X. This is the microphone that the buttery smooth sound of Jim Fuse is talking into right now. What's the difference between an MV7 and MV7X? Right here. Does not have a USB input. You can't plug this directly into your computer. You need something like this, like a Rodecaster Pro or an interface to plug an XLR into it. So we'd like to thank our friends at Shure who sent us this microphone, but these opinions are all of our own. So there you go. That's the example of live selling. That's all we
I
did.
love it.
And
I
then,
love it.
so there you go. You got a little taste of that.
What it's like to be on Amazon Live.
Good,
Like,
isn't it?
basically, the part of our show where the question came up and you talk about the product, then we can go talking right back to what I really want to help people with as we get to the end of this show, which is if you are a content creator, right? And we're talking about Amazon Live, but this easily could be a conversation about YouTube content, easily a conversation about Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Like, what is your goal? What is your plan? What are you willing to work towards? Because there's no real instant gratification. And there may be, you may have a video to go viral. Like, there's people that I know people that have viral videos, but guess what? You have to double down on that, continue to work. It's almost more work that you have to do once you go viral to do it again and then do that again and then do that again before you really can figure out that, hey, now I have enough subscribers, I have enough or whatever it is to do something else with my content because of my audience. Eileen, thank you for coming, hanging out with us.
Miss
Love
Eileen.
the all caps. Yeah.
There's an Amazon influence in the house. Wow, she's yelling. Hello,
I
beautiful
know it,
right? Yelling with an emoji, a waving emoji.
But like what Chris just did, right? That's one of the ways we do it. But then, like, say for an example, we have some products that they're too big for us to show on screen. So we've done B-roll, right? And that's where Ecamm comes in handy. Is we will just play that B-roll and we can talk about it. Right, we'll show them all the different angles of the
I've
product.
got an example of that, Jim. I can, thanks
I
to
would have
Ecamm.
figured you would.
If you want to put me solo. So here's me talking about Dan. If you're still in the mix, this is me talking about. This is an example of using PlexiCam and talking and obviously I'm still talking about it. I'm talking about how the PlexiCam works, how it hangs over, and you attach your webcam to each one of your monitors, so you never take your eyes away from anyone. So, you can kind of have that while you're talking and just kind of keep the pattern interrupt. That's the other thing we didn't talk about is, the pattern interrupt on Amazon. Obviously, when you go live and you have your app open and you talk about a particular product, in this case, the PlexiCam, and I hit that product, the live stream shows up on the PlexiCam product page. And so while someone is actually shopping and thinking about stuff, not just that PlexiCam product page, but similar products. So while someone's shopping for that, they look over and they go, what the heck is going on here? This guy's got cameras and all kinds of stuff. Or this guy's talking to this, oh, that's DJ Strick. I remember him and when he was a DJ in Alabama, or whatever. Right. And then they're coming over and they're watching your show. And even if they don't buy that PlexiCam, but they're on Amazon shopping and they buy something else, you get commission for that as well as an Amazon influencer.
Hey guys, they're helping all of us out get a clear understanding of what you can do on Amazon Live. Let me say this as I wrap this up today. We had Chris on the stream show probably last year sometime. Didn't get a chance to get with Jim. Jim, I'm sorry that we didn't have you on, but I'm glad you're here this time. We met in Orlando last year sometime for a pod fest, and I felt so at home with you guys. Like it was
Oh,
the
same, dude.
coolest time in the world. Felt like I've known you guys forever. We were right outside the convention area, outside, just kind of talking for hours with a group of us that you guys have brought down for Podfest to do the Amazon Live portion. And I was just kind of overwhelmed by number one, your hospitality, your openness, and your willingness to really help people. So as we talk about, if we already kind of talked about why you guys do it, I've witnessed it personally myself, your willingness to open your arms to allow me to be a part of that group. And I was just there to support my friends that were speaking at the Amazon Live portion of Podfest. And I just love it. I'm saying all this to say, guys, I appreciate what you do for our community, of content creators and trying to help people. I want people to know that are watching this, whether it's live or in a replay, how they can get in contact with you, because they need to be in your audience, in your circle as well. So I know you have Dealcasters, but tell me all the ways that people can connect with you. And Chris, I'll start with you.
I appreciate you, Strick, man. Yeah, that was a great time in Orlando. I think you and I had met sometime before because there's been a Venn diagram of like me being at Sony in the music business and you and me being in the Southeast. And I think, I don't know, we may have been at like a gospel show back
We
in the
could have
day and
crossed
didn't
paths.
even
We
know it.
really could
Didn't
have.
even know it. Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate you and I appreciate you having us on. It's such a great show. And, what you do, sir, for content creators is, not only provide great content and even knuckleheads like Jim and I to be on the show, but you are an inspiration as well to content creators. What a great looking show. What a great
And
show
thank
that you
you.
put together. And we appreciate you. But if anybody wants to get in contact with me, I make it easy. You can go to chrisstone.contact and all my stuff's there. So if you want to connect with me on whatever platform you want to, LinkedIn, all the tubes, I'm there. chrisstone.contact.
Do me a favor. Can you do it in a wrestling accent so people can really get there?
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. chrisstone.contact. Yeah.
I love it, Jim. I'm
That
putting
one's
you in
for
a hot
Brant.
seat,
That one's
Jim.
for Brant.
That was for
Oh my
Brandon.
gosh. Well, I'm not
We
a
did
wrestler,
this.
so I won't
We
be
we
doing
did it
that.
on the last show. Of course, Chris Stone is a wrestling day, man. It just is what it is. And so we all grew up with mine was of course everybody loves Hulk Hogan, but Macho Man Randy Savage. The way he would just come out like, why is he talking like that? Hey Jim, man, how can people get in contact with you?
Yeah, the best way would be, I mean, I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn all the time, Fusion Marketing or just my name, Jim Fuse, but you can go to taplink.cc/fusion marketing. Of course, it's spelled with an H, FUHSION marketing, and I've got a bunch of my ways to connect with me there as well. I need to do the Chris Stone thing, and because Chris Stone,
Mm,
that's another thing. He's a great teacher, and he taught me all about the power of redirects, and
okay.
we redirect stuff all the time, and so I gotta set up myself like something like he did, and it's magic, and it really helps with SEO.
Well, there you go. So it's like having one link that you can go to other places.
Yes.
I like
Yeah,
that.
so if you
Different
got a
than
link
Linktree.
tree or something
Okay.
like a link tree, but you buy a domain and send people there. So like let's
Uh-huh.
just say djstrick.live
Right.
and then you send that to your tap link. It's just a redirect.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So
And that way
so
when you're in things like this and people don't have anything to click or a URL, but or you're in a social audio thing like is Clubhouse still a thing? I think it is.
it
It
is.
is.
Or LinkedIn audio or Twitter Spaces or on a podcast and you say chrisstone.contact, it's a little more memorable as opposed to, Bitly or,
Mhm.
asking people to spell your name or anything like that. So
Very good, very good. Listen, all we had to do was tap into our wrestling voices and people would just go
Ric
crazy.
Flair. I see
You
Dusty
remember,
Rhodes.
oh yeah, you
Oh
remember
man,
Dusty
Dusty
Rhodes?
Rhodes.
Hit you
What
with
was he
that
known as?
elbow.
Was
Huh?
Dusty Rhodes wasn't the guy that ate the turnbuckle. That was the other
Yeah,
guy.
that was the other guy. Dusty
The other
Rhodes with
guy
the guy with the. He was a
had
more of a heavy
blonde.
set guy, but he had
Yeah.
his main move was the elbow drop. So he'll tap his elbow and then drop it on you. I mean, I was a kid in the South, and wrestling
Yeah.
was a really, really big thing. And Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, all those guys, and Hulk Hogan just took it to a whole nother level. And anytime you do a show and Professor Nez shows up, it's
Oh
just, I mean, what
man.
can you
That's
do?
our
What
dude
can you
right
do?
there.
He
That's our
is,
dude right there.
he's definitely like Professor, man. I gotta have you on the show, dude. Like. I
Oh
gotta have
yeah,
you on
man.
the
You got
show.
to get
I
that guy on
absolutely
for
love him.
sure.
He's been
He's like
on, but he's got to
the
come
Jimmy
back.
Superfly Snuka of content creators.
Yes, right. So all you have to do is like with Professor Ness is ask him a question and get out of the way. Like, I'm glad you asked that question.
Right.
Get out of the way. Let me go. That is my
Take
guy.
your
I
glasses
love
off.
Professor Ness. And she said she's from Mad. Like, you guys remember Mad Dog? Mad Dog was the one with the turnbuckle, like eating the turnbuckle.
What Mad Dog? I don't
Mad
remember.
Dog 2020. Mad Dog 2020. No, is that a
Mad
joke?
Dog 2020. No, Mad Dog 20 is another
That's another
wrestler. That's something
story.
you buy on the corner. That's at a convenience store. That's what Mad Dog 2020 was.
I did grow up
That
in the
and
South,
Boone Farm
brothers.
Country Quencher.
Yeah, I did grow up in the South. So, Professor, listen, you don't have to be humbled by us. You are a legend. You got to come. You got to come to the show. I need to have you on. Guys, this has been absolutely amazing. And I mean, if we keep going, she's going to give us all the names. Like, we just need to do a Hall of Fame, for all of the guys that we remember as kids growing up. People are going to say, at some point, the Iron Sheik too, Jim and Chris from Dealcasters inspired me the same way we remember these wrestlers. They're going to remember you guys and how when you started on Amazon Live and started telling us about it, that it changed their lives. And I'm hoping I'm one of those people that say, you know what, I'm going to listen to those guys and just go ahead and do it. My issue is, when you're juggling, like what gets priority? And the thing that I think that should get priority is the one thing that give you the most upside. It's like my time is my currency of investment. And I want to invest it in the thing that I can get the biggest return from. And returns are not short term. The best returns are not short term returns. It's long term returns that you can get. And I believe in what Amazon has done. And I think that they're still at the cusp of making things different for us. And all the things that you could do.
Yeah, and it's a long game. It's like we're not looking to do this and get short money because there's a lot of people that got in this thing and they started making some money, and there's been changes on the platform. There's more people are coming in. Amazon's kind of pulling some rugs here and shifting some things around. And if you think that once you're in, you could just start make a full-time revenue and then just kind of coast. That's not how it works. If you got to diversify the portfolio of revenue streams, right? Use this as one of your revenue streams. And like you said, this thing starts taking off, you're going to pay more attention. Probably you're going to shift a little bit more of your thing to it because some of this other stuff may not be working as much, and you got to do what you got to do. But, focusing on this thing and doing it the right way has benefited us for sure. It's benefited Professor Nez, who's here in the chat as well. Thank you for sharing out this stream. Good Professor.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Yep. Thank you so very much. Hey guys, we could keep going on and on this, and I really want to help people. And I think through the replay, if people get to this, they will have got all that they need to get started and to be inspired. You guys inspired me, and I'm praying that we get a chance to do something else. Maybe before the end of the year, we come back and do something really big, and maybe we'll really showcase Ecamm and Amazon together. Like, instead of just talking about it, just have a show on both platforms. I should have did that, but we'll know better next time. So thank you guys, man. You're awesome. Everybody that's watching this, thank you for checking out the stream show. All right. Every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you have me and wonderful guests like these guys. All right. And who knows what's next? I think it's JP High Tech. I'm going to be hanging out with him.
There you
he
go.
has a storefront. Like, this guy has a real building that he's doing his streaming in, and his whole content creation stuff is.
He's
I want to
awesome.
check it out. I want to see his studio. So check us out next Sunday, and we'll do this all over again for you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Take care.
Hey, this is DJ Strick, and I would like to thank you for watching another edition of The Stream Show.